I'm Judy Joseph, your host for On the Town, and today I'm at Big Dog Vineyards in Milpitas. Did you know there's a winery in Milpitas? Well, there is. Come along with me as we explore Big Dog Vineyards. My special guest today is Mark Capelongan. He is the owner of Big Dog Vineyards. Mark, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
It's a beautiful day, and we're so thankful to have you invite us out here to your vineyard. We have a lot to talk about, so why don't we get started?
Great, love to have you here.
So Mark, as I mentioned in my opening, you're the only winery in Milpitas.
Correct, yes.
So give me a little history about how Big Dog Vineyards was started.
Well, actually, these vines, it starts with the planting of the vines. And these vines are 12 years old, going on 13 now. It's interesting, you know, we acquired the ranch. We have about 46 acres up here. And we're at that age where we had a lot of creative energy that needed to be put to use. So with the with the suggestion of one of our friends who's also a winemaker over in Woodside, he just convinced us it was time to plant. And we kind of took a leap of faith and went ahead and developed this whole hillside. Turns out that it was a good choice, and we've done pretty well with the vines up here.
Now this is not your profession.
Absolutely not.
This
is for fun.
So this is for fun,
yes, right.
Or kind of like a hobby, or has it turned into more than just a hobby? Because
maybe someday that would be nice. I think that if you're a mom and pop kind of family or family vineyard, you're really in that position of doing it for the love of doing it and for the fun, you know. But it's a wonderful change from our regular work down in the valley. We get to come up here and have a different life, and who wouldn't want to make wine, you know?
The vineyard sits on approximately 45 acres of property.
Right.
How do you have time to maintain all of it?
I have help. You do? Yes,
okay.
Yes. We have about 2,000 vines planted here, and that's that's about 1,000 hours a year of work. So I have a vineyard manager and a crew of dedicated people that help me out in the vineyard. When it comes time to making the wine, it comes almost down to these two hands and then some help. But that's kind of the crush is an interesting period of time where I just kind of drop everything else that's going on in life for that period of 2 to 3 weeks to get the wine made.
And when does the crush take place? What month?
Actually, around here, it's the end of October, generally. 3rd or 4th week in October, which is late.
Do you bring in your friends and family and just make it a big
for harvest?
Fun
We
day?
do. We have we have a harvest party. Everybody spends a couple hours picking in the morning, and then we knock off about noon and have a big lunch down on the patio. So that's a lot of fun. Sometimes the kids will stomp grapes and stuff like that.
Okay. Mark, tell me about the vines. How long have they been here, and how tall do they grow before you can actually start, picking them and making wine?
Sure. Well, this season's growth is what we're looking. This is the green portion, the foliage. The vines leafed out about 3 weeks ago, and that's late. Napa's a good month before us. So all of this green section here is the growth in the last 3 weeks. This is called the cane, from here to here. These are the laterals, and this stays year after year. So the canes will be growing this season up through the 3rd wire here. And so that total length is going to end up being about 4 feet. After that, if we let them, they would grow and flop over and get as large as they want. What we try to do is stop that growth. And we'll probably stop that growth at the end of June, mid-July. It's actually called cessation of growth. And if one of the tricks is we'll actually hedge the top. Once this end is cut off, it will not grow. And what we're really trying to do then is tell the vine to shift gears from pushing foliage to instead ripening the grapes. So we're also trying to balance the ratio between the number of leaves that we get and the amount of fruit. This is just the infant cluster right here. And this hasn't yet gone through bloom set. These are actually going to bloom into a little white flower in probably about 3 weeks. And then that flower is self-pollinating, and from there then this will eventually become a grape cluster and start hanging down from the lateral. But again, year after year, we take a look at what does the vine need, how is it doing, and try to balance all of these things to give ourselves optimum fruit quality and just the right varietal flavors. So what we've planted here, and actually nature decides what you plant. It's all about the soil and the weather and the terroir. And it turns out that what was optimum for us is Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc, both of which we're growing here on this vineyard. And it's typical variegated leaf here. That is, this is a Cabernet Sauvignon. And so you can identify what type of grape it is by the shape of its leaf. In any case, both of these are red varietals, both very hardy, and we just happen to have this sort of bay-influenced weather that gives us a perfect situation for growing reds here. It works out for me because I happen to like reds best.
So Mark, the view is breathtaking and the house is just gorgeous. So tell me about how you found the house, and of course the view was part of getting this property. How did this happen?
Yes, exactly. I'm a sucker for a good view, especially the valley view. And I think this is one that can't be beat. It goes from Almaden Valley to the south, and on a clear day you can see San Francisco, just as plain as day. So we're at 1,200 feet elevation here and look out over the entire Bay Area. And that, we found the place just driving up the road one Sunday afternoon, and it was for sale, and so, impulsively we bought it. It turned out to be one of the best things we ever did.
And here you are 12 years later.
Exactly,
It's
yes.
beautiful.
Yes.
So Mark, as we were saying earlier, this property is huge. It's like 45 acres, and I noticed that you have some horse stables here.
Right,
Tell us
right.
about the horse stables.
Well, with 45 acres, you have to graze it, so just to keep the grass down. And so we knew we needed livestock, and turns out that the couple that ranch this property back behind us were looking for a place to board horses and train horses. And so we just kind of hooked up with them, and Kathy leases the barn from us and does all the horse operations. So front half of the property is the horse ranch, and the back half is the vineyard.
Right now we're at the winery Big Dog Vineyards, and Mark and his lovely wife Sandy are going to talk about their award-winning wines.
Love to, actually. We've been making wine since 2005. And the 2006, we're particularly proud of this one. This is the Cab Franc that it won gold at the San Francisco Chronicle Wine Competition this year. And it's up against the best of Napa and Sonoma wines. So we're in Milpitas, whoever would figure that. This is one of my favorites. Very deep in color, very bold in flavor, and has a lot of interesting things going on. This might be Sandy's favorite as well. I think it's excellent. We're aging all of our wines in American oak and French oak, and one of the unique things that we're doing is we're using a brand new cask or barrel for every single vintage. A lot of wineries will manage their barrels and use them 2 to 3 times, and we've found that we're really after making a premium wine. So every single vintage gets its own barrel, and then we retire that barrel, and it can become some very expensive firewood after that.